There's going to be 5 main components for a flat tow setup with any vehicle. First one's going to be your base plate, second your tow bar, then your safety cables, your wiring, and your braking system. With the Chevy Equinox, it's going to require 3 additional parts. We're going to require a brake light switch, a fuse master fuse bypass, and a charge line. Our StopLight switch is going to mount behind our brake pedal. When our brake pedal is depressed, it's going to send a signal to the indicator light mounted in our RV to tell us that our braking system is being activated. Because our StopLight switch is going to require power from the battery, our charge line kit is going to allow us to charge our battery while our vehicle is being flat towed. A Roadmaster bypass allows us to bypass a fuse. The reason we need this is on the 2017 Chevy Equinox, you have to pull the ABS fuse in order to flat tow the vehicle. Rather than having to get out of the vehicle, pull the fuse every single time you want to flat tow, this is going to allow us to push a button to bypass that fuse from inside. To install your brake light switch, it's very simple. It's going to attach to a little bracket that runs up and is held in place by an existing bolt straight up from the brake pedal arm. The brake light switch is going to sit in front of the brake pedal arm, and what it's going to do, it has a little plunger in it, and when the brake pedal is applied, that plunger is going to come out. What it's going to do is it's going to send a signal through your wires to your indicator light, which is going to be mounted in the RV. The reason we need a brake light switch in this vehicle is because the brake light switch actually on the car, you cannot tie into it. So that takes the place of that. It's basically just to give your indicator light power to let it know, or let you know that the brakes are being applied in the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push on the brake pedal, and you'll see a little pink plunger come out. The 2 wires that are attached to it, one of them is going to be a power wire. The other one is going to run to the front of the vehicle to your 6-pole plug. You're going to have 2 wires off the back of your switch. One of the wires is going to run to your 6-pole plug. The other one is going to run up to your fuse panel. 2 wires that come in your kit are not long enough to reach because your fuse panel is outside in the engine compartment. So what I suggest is getting some extra wire for both of them. You can use whatever color you want. I use yellow wire. That's my wire that's running to my 6-pole plug. Black one is running up to my fuse panel. And it doesn't matter which wire on the back of the switch you hook them to, you just got to have one for each. For my wire going to my fuse panel, your kit's going to come with a fuse tap. It gives you a spot for the fuse that you're replacing and a new one. It's a 10 amp fuse, so what you want to do to find the fuse, you want to test your fuses, and you want to find one that has power all the time. Make sure your key's not in the ignition, the car's not running. The reason you want one that has power all the time, so when you're flat towing the vehicle, that brake light switch or stop light switch it still works. You're just going to take that, pull the fuse out, put it into your fuse tap, put the other fuse that comes in the kit in the fuse tap, and then stick it in the spot. And our yellow wire, I brought it right into the back of the fuse panel here, right underneath the lid. What I did is I just took a pair of side cutters, cut a little notch in it so that when I put my lid back on, it doesn't crimp that wire. The reason we need the fuse tap, because we need to make sure that our brake light switch or our stop light switch is working all the time, even with the car off, so that it's working when we're flat towing the vehicle. That's why we need to make sure we find a fuse that has power to it all the time. This is where we chose to install our indicator light. It's easily seen by the driver. When we apply the brake, the light's going to come on, telling us that our brakes are being applied in our Equinox while we're flat towing it.